Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make another YouTuber statue. This time, it's going to be Antvenom, and if you want to make him, here's what you're going to need. You're going to need black wool, dark grey, light grey, white, purple, dark blue. You will also need red and yellow wool, and we'll also need some more colours later on, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So once you have your colours and once you've figured out where you want to make him, I'm going to make him right here. You're going to want to start off with this little colour sequence in a row on the floor. You're going to want to do 2 red wool, 1 white, 2 red, 1 white, 2 red. So you want to have something that looks like that, and that's going to be the foundation of our Antvenom statue, so make sure you've got that right, and you can continue. So what you're going to want to do for the next row is very simple. Where you placed red on the previous row, on this row you're going to want to place dark grey. So you want to have something that looks like that. Then you want to place black where you placed white, and that's all there is to it. Sheep's inspecting. Yeah, he knows it's right. So that's what you want to have. And what you want to do for the next row, row number 3, you just want to copy what you have on the previous row. So just do another round of the black and dark grey. And those are the first 3 rows of the legs, and they're actually the most complicated rows, because what you're going to want to do for the next 9 rows are solid rows of black. So make sure you've got those right, and you can continue on. So like I said, you're going to want to do 9 rows of black wool. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And as I always say, I like to count them out like that before I fill them in, just to make sure that I've got the right amount of rows. Too many times have I made lanky or dwarf statues because I've just slapped them on witlessly. So there we go, all 9 rows of black. No one has ever accused this skin of being too colourful. So that's what you want for the whole leg section. Pause that if necessary. It's very simple. It should add up to 12. You've got your 3 base rows plus your 9. So there you go. And once you're sure that you've got that right, we can move on. So what you're going to want to do here, we're going to be doing a few more rows of black, but I feel as though it's probably a smart idea to do this. So what you want to do, on top of your 9 rows of black, just add on 1 extra row to give you 10 rows in total. Except what's going to be different with this row is you're going to want to extend out that row by 4 either side with your dark blue wool. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the other side as well, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's just going to mark out where the hands are, because the hands are kind of sandwiched in between quite a lot of black wool, so it's going to be hard later on to figure out where they are. So, you know, much easier to do it now. And just to remind you, they line up with the 10th row of black. So there you go. Continuing on, what you're going to want to do, ignore the hands for now, by the way, and I'll address the colour choice a little later on as well. So on top of your original 8 blocks is what we're going to be continuing on with. You're going to want to do 4 more rows of black. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So just to reiterate, because I know that we've done that in kind of a strange way. You did your 9 rows, you did your 1 extra row, then you've done 4. So that should add up to 14 if my math is correct. 9, 1, 4. Just so you know. So what you're going to want to do for the next row, quite easy. What you want to do, place a single black on the ends of each row, like that. Place 2 black in the 2 middle spots of the row, and then fill the rest of the row in with light grey wool to give you something that looks like that. Then, what you're going to want to do for the next row, and this should bring back a bit of deja vu, where you place black on the previous row, place light grey on this row, and where you placed light grey on the previous, place black on the next row. So you want to have something that looks like that. Then, what you're going to want to do for the next row, this next row is ever so slightly trickier. You're going to want to place 2 yellow wool in the 2 middle spots of the row, like that. Then, what you want to do is you want to place a single dark grey either side of the yellow that you've placed. Then, you want to fill the rest of the row in with black. So you have that. Then, what you're going to want to do for the next row is you're going to want to place purple where you placed yellow. You're going to want to place yellow where you place dark grey. And right next to the yellow, you want to place dark grey. And to finish off the row, black. So, I know I'm building this statue in a weird way. I don't know why, but hopefully you can still follow. And it's easy enough to follow anyway, so just give you a bit of a close-up of what we've done, just in case you'd, you know, for whatever reason, if you had a hard time. But there you go, that's what we want to have so far. Moving on. So the next row, what you want to do, you want to place yellow in the two middle spots right on top of the purple. Then you want to place dark grey on top of the yellow. Then you want to fill the rest of the row in with black to give you his amulet there. Then what you're going to want to do for the next row is very simple. You just want to place white where you placed dark grey on the previous row, and then just black for the rest of it, like that. Then, what you're going to want to do for the next row is kind of trickier to explain, but really easy to do. So this is the 12th and final row of the torso, and all you want to do is just place white there and there, like going out diagonally from the white on the previous row, and then just fill the rest of the row in with black. As you can see, very simple, makes sense. That's the amulet string or pendant string, whatever you want to call it, that holds it around his neck. And let me just show you the whole torso section as it is, just so you can be sure that you've got that right. It's a very plain skin, this one. I'm surprised he hasn't changed it, because I did a 2D version of this quite a long time ago, probably. Well, it might even be like 8 months ago now. I don't know how long it's been, and it's not changed a lot. Some guys like to change their skins around, but that's what you want to have in total. And let me just show you it all with the legs, just because that's what I like to do. That's what you want to have. So pause that if necessary. Make sure you've got that right. Now we can move on. So we're going to be doing the arms, and we're going to be starting with the right arm. But before I do, I'm going to talk about the colour choice for the hands. If you've ever looked at the actual skin of Antvenom, he's got a really weird colour hands. It's like an extremely dark blue that is bordering on black, or maybe an extremely dark purple, whatever you want, whatever you see it as. It's all open to interpretation. So that's why I chose dark blue for the hands, but equally so you could use, I believe I used obsidian in the original, but I like wool better. So, you know, I know that his hands aren't this colour, I'm aware, I'm not colourblind, but, you know, use what you can. Use black if you want, use pink, use whatever, but I've chose blue. So, coming over to his right arm, starting with his right arm, his arms are extremely simple as well. You've already got your first row of blue, that was a clever idea. And what you want to do, you just want to add another row of blue on top. So you want to have that. Then what you want to do for the next row, you're going to want to place a light grey on the left and right of your row of 4 dark blue, and you're just going to want to place black wool in between them, like that. Then what you want to do for the next row is just a copy of the previous, so it wants to look a little something like that. Pause that if necessary, and we can continue on with the arm. So the rest of the arm is extremely simple. It is just completely black. Like I said, this skin has never been accused of being too colourful. So that is what you want for the entire arm. There is nothing difficult to it whatsoever. Pause that if necessary. There you have it. We're going to be moving on to the next arm. So the next arm, extremely simple, just as the previous. It's pretty much just a mirror image. What you want to do, throw another row of blue on top of your blue, light grey here and here, black in between, and then black for the rest of the arm. Nice and simple. Absolutely nothing difficult about it whatsoever. So, just filling in the arm, and look at that, saved by the bell. That doesn't really make sense, however. Yeah, I suppose it kind of does, because we've just finished the front. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut out, wait until daybreak again, show you the front of the statue in all of its glory, and then we will continue on. So I will be back very shortly. I wonder if they'll ever implement the option to set it to daytime all the time. I'd really like to see that. But anyway, as I said, I wanted to show you what we have so far. That is the entire front of our statue. It's done, completo, finito. So you want to have something that looks exactly like that. Pause that if necessary. Make sure, and once you do, it's time to move on to the next stage of our statue. So what you want to do is come down to the bottom of your statue, take a sideways view, then take out your red wool. It doesn't really matter which side of the statue that you're on. We've got to do the same thing to both sides. And what you want to do from the edge of the feet, you're going to just want to bring it back by 3 rows with your red wool. So like that. And the same thing on the other side as well. 1, 2, 3. And then what you want to do, after you've done that, is you just want to connect those 2 rows of red together at the back, like that. And what you've essentially made there is a platform to build up the rest of the statue. Because if you've not seen a statue tutorial of mine before, this is how it goes. I build up the entire front like that. I then build our little platform here. I then build up the entire back of the statue, just like I did the front. I then build up the sides, and then I throw on the head, and then we mire a brilliant statue. And the sheep wants to get entombed. Fair enough. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to be ignoring the sides for now, and we're just going to be building up on the back row of our statue. Get in there! Now, what you're going to want to do for the second row of the back is pretty much what we did on the first side of the statue. We're going to pretty much copy rows 2 and 3 onto the back of our statue. So take out your grey wool and your black and just copy what we did. So, grey there, black there, and that is what you want to have. The first 3 rows are very similar to each other, minus the white for the bottom row. Pause that if necessary, make sure that's what you have, and we can continue on. So the back of the statue as a whole is extremely plain and extremely easy to do. As a matter of fact, not including the arms here, the only thing that is on the back from here on out is, you see these 2 rows of light grey wool that we have here, this little pattern that's under the pendant? That's what's on the back in the exact same position. That is the only colouring that we have to do. So, bearing that in mind, this is what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to build up rows of black from the 3 rows that we've just done. And you're just going to want to kind of line it up with the front of our statue here. Like this. However you want to do this, of course. I like to make things into shapes and then fill them in. But if you want to build up the solid rows right up to here, it's up to you. So you want to line it up. And exactly in the same position as you did on the front, doing the exact same things, you're going to want to do that on the back as well. I'm not going to give you instructions on how many rows that is. I've got no idea. You could probably work it out. However, all you want to do, as I said, just line it up with the front of the statue and you will be good to go. And just copy those 2 rows right there. That's all you want to have. And that is pretty much the entire back of the statue completed at that point, because all you have to do now is you just have to fill in the rest of the top in all black and then copy the back of the arms, mincing words, copy the front of the arms onto the back. So, as I said, I like to make things into shape, so I'm just going to be filling all of this in with black. And you know what, I was going to contemplate cutting this out. However, I'm just going to leave it in. I'm just going to leave it in, why not? If you guys want to skip forward, you can skip forward. I'm just going to be filling the whole back in with black, back in black. So, all the way from the bottom to the top. Quite tedious. Quite tedious. This is the worst part of statue building for me, when I've got to fill in larger volumes of space. So there we go. Let me show you what you're supposed to have. On the back, there are only 5 rows with colour in them. And most of them are identical to the front. So that's what you want to have so far. Pause that if necessary. Now we can move on to the arms. So I'm going to be starting with this arm here, although it really doesn't matter because, as I said, the arms are pretty much just a copy of what you have on the front. So just, I don't know how better to explain this. Just line up with what you have on the front, line it up with the back, and just copy away. If you manage to do the front of the arms without any hassle whatsoever, the back of the arms will be no challenge for you. All you do is exactly what you did. I'm doing this a little fast, obviously, but you already have what you need to figure out what you have to do, and then come over to the other arm, copy that one as well. No variation, no deviation, just the exact same thing that we have on the front. Hopefully you're a little less clumsy than I am. Ever since I got this new controller, like I had a wired... My god, I had a wireless controller for the longest time and it kept cutting out and it caused a lot of aggravation, so I've got a wired controller. But of course now it's... I don't know whether it's more responsive or something, but I'm a lot more clumsier than I used to be, or at least I think I am. So, well, I mean, I'll give you a top view of the back. So that's what you want to have for the top of the back. As I said, if you manage to do the front of the arms, you can do the back of the arms, no problem. They're in the exact same position. Same thing for the little detailing on the upper back there. Pause that if necessary, that's the entire back. And let me show you what the entire back of the statue looks like. Oh my god. Like I said, clumsy, clumsy, clumsy. So that's what the entire back of the statue wants to look like. Once it's all done, nothing really much to it, to be honest. The sides are very simple as well, so pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, you can move on to the sides. So coming over to this side, if you're on the back, I'm on the right side, but if you're on the front, I'm on the left side. Although it doesn't really matter as both sides are the same. So what you're going to want to do, I'm going to be starting with the legs. What you're going to want to do for the first two rows of the sides, starting from, you know, just above our little red here. The left block of the row wants to be dark grey, and the right block of the row wants to be black. So that's what you want to have for the first row of the sides. The second row of the sides is exactly the same. You just want to do dark grey there, black there. And that is pretty much the only detailing that goes into the legs. The rest of the legs are just entirely black, like this. So that's what you want to have for the side of the legs there. Pause that if necessary. Then what you're going to want to do for the arms are arguably even easier. So what you want to do, you want to fill in the bottom of the hands with dark blue, as you might imagine, or whatever colour you used, of course. The first row of the arm wants to be dark blue as well, so you want to have that. And again, do remember, I say this on every statue because, you know, maybe I'm projecting because I make this mistake a lot, but I always forget to fill in the bottom of the hands. Make sure to do that. And the rest of the arm just wants to be black wool. So the left, the right column, just make entirely black. There is nothing much to it whatsoever. It wants to come out a little like that. The first two rows are dark blue, rest are black. And I know it's getting dark, but it's very easy, and I'm going to show you once it's light again. The top of the shoulder, you want to fill in the first three rows coming towards the center of the statue, just entirely in black, like that. So you want to have that. And, well, I'm not going to show you the side since it's getting dark, but I will be back when it... we're back. So this is what the side of the arm should look like once it's all put together. Pause that if necessary. I won't linger on this too long since all you have there are two rows of dark blue and the rest of it is black wool. However, it was pretty dark when I did the top of the shoulder. So what you want to have here is a minimum of 3 rows of black just coming towards the center like that. And you don't need any more, although you could, it wouldn't affect the statue. You only need 3 to make sure the statue will be airtight. So on the top here, top of the shoulder, 3 rows coming towards the center and you will be good. And let me just show you what the whole side of the statue looks like, or is supposed to look like. There we go. Probably don't have to show it you since it's a pretty simple design, but I always like to have a frame of reference. So that's what you want to have. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, you can move on to the other side. So coming over to here, the much easier side. It's easier because all we have to do this side is have a look forward and see what we did on that side. It is the exact same. So on that side, as you can see, we placed two rows of dark grey here. And the rest of it is black. So just copy what you have on the other side and you will be good to go. You don't need any special instruction. It is the exact same. So that's the whole leg section. Nothing much to it. 2 dark grey, rest black. And the other arm is just 2 rows of dark blue, followed by the rest being filled in with black. I'm doing this a little quicker, obviously, because, as I said, if you get in trouble, all you have to do, have a look at the other arm, and you will be good to go. Top of the shoulder, only have to come in by 3 rows, but as I said, it wouldn't really affect you if you put whatever you wanted there. If you put, I don't know, glowstone there, it really wouldn't matter. It'd just be covered by the head. Although the first 3 rows, you wouldn't want to put glowstone there. That'd be a bad idea. Although it would illuminate the head. I've got to bring glowstone into my statue making. But anyway, that's what you want to have so far. That's the whole front, back, and sides of the statue done. It sounds like a haircut. All we have to do now is add in the head, and we have our Antvenom. So I did spy with my little eye, it's actually getting somewhat close to night time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut it off here, and I'll be back once we have a full day. Alright, so hopefully at this point you should be stood in front of your very own decapitated Antvenom statue. It's time for us to reattach the head. So first things first, you're going to want to discard all of your colours. You don't need them anymore. And you're going to want to get out 4 new ones. You're going to want to grab sandstone, white wool, black, and brown. We won't need any more for the head. Once you've got your colours, once you are at this exact point, you've got the front, back, sides done, you just need to put the head back on. You're going to want to, on top of the original 8 blocks of the torso, so these ones right here that I've just placed sandstone on, you're going to want to do the exact same thing. On top of the original 8 blocks of the torso, just on top of it, place a whole row of sandstone just like that. Then, what you're going to want to do from there is the row of sandstone that you've just built, you're going to want to bring it 2 rows towards you, coming out in front of the statue, just like that. It wants to overhang the front of the statue by 2 rows. Now that we've done that, we've basically built the foundation of the face. This most outward row here, that's what we're going to build the face on top of. So what you're going to want to do first off is you're going to want to knock out the 4 middle blocks of that row, and you're going to want to replace them with black wool. That's the actual foundation row. What you're going to want to do now, treating this as row number 2 on top of this first row, is you're going to want to copy the previous row. You're just going to want to have the sandstone either side and the black in the middle like that. That's part of his goatee. Then what you're going to want to do for the next row is you're going to want to do 2 sandstone in the 2 middle blocks. Then you're going to want to do black either side and then sandstone either side of the black. You can see his goatee forming like that. Then what you're going to want to do for the next row is you're pretty much just going to do a copy of either row 1 or 2. So you're just going to want to do black in the middle and sandstone either side like so. What you want to do for the next row is you're going to want to place a single sandstone on the left and right side of the row like that. You're going to want to place 2 sandstone in the 2 middle slots, and then you're going to want to place white in between the sandstone like that. Then what you're going to want to do for the next row, very similar to what we've just done, except you're going to want to place brown on the 2 closest whites towards the center like that, and then the rest of the row is the exact same. So wants to look like that. And then once you're at this point, all you have to do is stack another 2 rows of black on top of what you already have, and you're good to go. That is the whole head the whole face portion of the head, I should say. It wants to look exactly like that. Pause that if necessary. Alright, so once you've completed the face, it's time to finish up the rest of the head. So the first thing you're going to want to do is come around the back of the face, right here. And the original 8 row of sandstone that you placed, you're going to want to extend that back until it comes over the back of the statue by 2 rows, in a similar fashion as we did with the front. We just want it to overhang the back by 2 rows. So that should be 2. Yep, there you go. So it just wants to be even with the front like that. And then once you've done that, we can start adding in the detailing. Shall we start on the back of the sides? Let's start with the back. So as we did with the front, we're going to be treating this as the second row of the back of the head. Make sure again that it does overhang too. Yep, that's the first row, the plain row of sandstone, and the second row also wants to just be a plain row of sandstone like that. Then the next row, you want to place 2 black wool in the 2 center spots like that. Then the rest of the row can be sandstone. Then what you want to do for the next row, you want the 4 center blocks to be black, the rest of the row sandstone, and then the next 4 rows are just entirely black wool. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just fill them in like so. 2, 3, and 4. And that is what you want for the back of the head. And coincidentally, that's pretty much what we want for the sides of the heads as well. Every single side, except the face of course, is exactly that pattern. So pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, you can move on to the sides. So again, just like we did with the back here, the second row just wants to be completely sandstone like so. Then the third row, 2 black in the 2 center spots, followed by sandstone everywhere else. The row after that, 4 black, sandstone everywhere else, and then the 4 rows after that are just completely black wool. Exactly like we did on the back. I know it looks a little different, but that's just because we have the face interfering on the side. If we had the option to have blocks which were like different colours on different faces, which would be kind of cool for them to implement one day, kind of tricky though, then, you know, those would also be black, the 2 sandstone on the right hand side. And that's pretty much what we want to do on the other side as well. We just want to copy what we've already done twice, so I'm not going to ramble this one out. You just want to do the exact same thing. You want 1 row of sandstone on top of your sandstone, then you just want your 2 black in the center of the next row, followed by the 4 black in the one after, and then it is just quite simply black for the remaining rows. Shouldn't give you too much trouble whatsoever. So pause that if necessary, if for some reason you do, and then once you've done that you can just move on to filling in the top of the head with black wool. So, just like that. Whole top of the head filled in, all nice. Let me just give you a tour of the head first, just so you can see. It's a pretty weird hairstyle. It kind of reminds me of like an old friar hairstyle. You know, the religious guys? I don't know. But then again, I suppose he'd have to shave the top of his head for that. Weird hairstyle nonetheless. And that is the whole statue done. It is completo, finito, finished. Not more to do. So let me show you. I always like to give you a nice 360-degree view. So starting at the front, let's have a look. As I say with a lot of the plain statues, you know, it probably doesn't get too much easier than this statue. He's a very entry-level statue. I've been doing a lot of those lately. Although I am moving on to some more complicated ones. I'm going to be doing the Avengers. And funnily enough, in fact, I'll save this for another time, but the next on the roster is the Avengers, after I've done my last couple of animal statues. But all I was going to say, with most plain statues, I always, you know, comment on how plain they are and how colourless they are, but they always do seem to have some sort of particular charm, and I'd have to say the same with this statue as well. So a roundabout way of just wanting to say that it is plain, but I still do kind of like it. So there you go, that's Antvenom all put together. I hope that this was easy enough to follow. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. See ya. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, maybe you should think about subscribing. I have plenty more stuff like this on my channel. I have tutorials ranging from YouTube statues, skin statues, houses, pixel art, the list goes on. Thanks for watching.